Welcome to the VBS. My name is Henry, and I'll be your puppet guide as we learn about Joshua and Gideon and the battles they fought for God and His people. Along the way, we'll also learn about the spiritual armor we wear and the things God gives us to fight with in our own battles. Today's story is about Joshua and how he trusted God and followed His commandments. Are you ready? Let's go! The people of Israel had wandered in the desert for 40 long years. But today, God is finally letting them go into the promised land. And because Joshua was faithful in the eyes of God, he gets to lead them in. But first, they have to cross the Jordan River.
As soon as the priests who carry the ark of the Lord of all the earth, step foot in the Jordan, the waters flowing downstream will be cut off and stand up in a heap.
God stopped the river and allowed all Israel to cross over on dry land. Later, when they were across, God had Joshua set 12 rocks for all the 12 tribes of Israel.
In the future, when your children ask their parents, "What do these stones mean?" tell them Israel crossed the Jordan on dry ground. For the Lord your God dried up the Jordan before you until you had crossed over.
Joshua 4:24 says, He did this so that all of the peoples of the earth might know that the hand of the Lord is powerful, and so that you might always fear the Lord your God. That was a great thing God did for the Israelites. But before they could settle the promised land, they had to deal with another problem: Jericho. The city of Jericho was big and scary, and filled with lots of nasty people. The Israelites were going to have to defeat them if they wanted to live in the promised land. And they didn't know what they were going to do, but luckily for them, God had a plan.
Are you with us or with our enemies?
Neither, but as commander of the army of the Lord, I have now come.
What message does my Lord have for his servant?
Take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy. See, I have delivered Jericho into your hands, along with its king and its fighting men. March around the city once with all the armed men. Do this for 6 days. Have 7 priests carry trumpets of ram's horns in front of the ark. On the 7th day, march around the city 7 times, with the priests blowing the trumpets. When you hear them sound a long blast on the trumpets, have the whole army give a loud shout. Then the wall of the city will collapse, and the army will go up, everyone straight in.
So Joshua did exactly as the Lord had told him to do.
Do not shout or make any noise with your mouth until the day I say to shout. Then you shall shout.
Every day for 6 days, the priest and the army marched around the walls, while the priests blew their trumpets. They marched around the wall once a day for 6 days. Then they went back to the camp for the night. But on the 7th day, they marched around the walls 7 times. And on the 7th time,
shout, for the Lord has given you the city.
because Joshua listened to God and followed his commandments, the Israelites were victorious. We can learn a lot of things from Joshua, but most important, we can learn this. In Joshua chapter 1, verse 9, it says, "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." Sometimes it can be hard and even scary to do what God says, but God will always be with us to help us along the way, just like he was with Joshua. Next time, we'll talk about how Gideon was able to serve God, even though he didn't want to at first. Keep an eye out for it on RedmondChurchofChrist.com. See you later!